General Motors plans to close its plant in Lordstown, Ohio.
General Motors temporarily shutting down more than half of its plants in North America.
For more than a century, General Motors has been one of the pillars of American industry. Its trucks dominate highways. Its factories anchor entire towns. Its decisions ripple through Wall Street, Washington, and kitchen tables across the country. But over the past several years, something unusual has happened. GM hasn't collapsed. It hasn't declared bankruptcy. It hasn't disappeared from the headlines. Instead, it has hesitated, publicly, repeatedly, and at scale. EV target revisions. Billions poured into battery plants while consumer demand cools. A high-profile robotaxi program abruptly suspended. A historic labour strike that rewrote wage structures. None of these events alone signals disaster, but together, they reveal something more consequential. A company navigating one of the most delicate transitions in its history, while standing on financial pillars that are shifting beneath it. This is not a story about a single plant closure or a temporary inventory imbalance. It is about a legacy automaker trying to balance two eras at once, protecting its profitable truck empire while racing into an electric future that may not be arriving on the timeline. Executives once projected, it is about rising interest rates that reshaped consumer behavior faster than forecasting models could adjust. It is about global competition intensifying at precisely the moment domestic costs are climbing. The question is no longer whether GM is investing enough in the future. The question is whether it is investing in the right future, at the right speed, while preserving the present that still pays the bills. And to understand how we reach this inflection point, we have to go back to a moment that many now view as an early warning sign. Real quick, if you're into videos that cut through the noise and break things down clearly, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more people find this. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. We've got more deep dives coming your way. Also, drop a comment and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your take. Now onto the video. In 2019, General Motors made a decision that sent shockwaves through the industrial Midwest. It closed the Lordstown assembly plant in Ohio. The facility, which had produced vehicles for more than 5 decades, had long symbolized the strength of American manufacturing. At the time, GM framed the move as part of a broader restructuring strategy, shifting capital toward electric and autonomous technologies, while exiting underperforming segments like compact sedans. The plant had been building the Chevrolet Cruze, a vehicle caught in a dramatic shift in consumer preferences. Americans were abandoning sedans in favor of SUVs and pickup trucks, a trend that had accelerated throughout the 2010s. From a balance sheet perspective, the closure was presented as rational. From a community perspective, it felt seismic. Thousands of direct and indirect jobs were affected, and the political backlash was immediate. Former President Donald Trump publicly criticized GM, accusing the company of abandoning American workers. Lawmakers demanded explanations. The episode became a national flashpoint in debates over corporate responsibility and industrial policy. For GM leadership, however, the decision represented something else, a calculated bet that the future lay in higher margin trucks and emerging electric platforms, not legacy compact cars. Lordstown was eventually sold to Lordstown Motors, a startup that promised to transform the facility into an electric pickup hub. But by 2023, Lordstown Motors filed for bankruptcy, underscoring how difficult the EV transition could be, even for companies built entirely around it. In hindsight, the Lordstown closure now appears less like an isolated restructuring and more like an early signal. GM was beginning to narrow its portfolio, concentrate its bets, and reposition itself for a new automotive era. What seemed like a straightforward shift away from sedans would later expose a deeper vulnerability, the company's increasing dependence on one specific revenue engine, full-size trucks and SUVs, just as economic conditions were about to change. If Lordstown marked the narrowing of GM's focus, the company's full-size pickup trucks became the center of gravity. Vehicles like the Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra were not just popular, they were extraordinarily profitable. High transaction prices, premium trims, and loyal customer bases made trucks and large SUVs the financial backbone of General Motors. For years, this strategy worked. Even when overall vehicle volumes fluctuated, the margins on these larger models helped cushion the company from downturns. But profitability tied to high sticker prices comes with risk. By 2022 and 2023, interest rates began climbing at the fastest pace in decades. The Federal Reserve's efforts to combat inflation reshaped the auto financing landscape almost overnight. Monthly payments on $60,000 trucks jumped sharply as borrowing costs rose. Even financially stable buyers felt the strain. The average auto loan term stretched longer. More households found themselves weighing whether a new truck was worth the additional debt burden. Dealers felt pressure as well. Floor plan financing, the credit dealers used to hold inventory, became more expensive as rates climbed. Each unsold vehicle sitting on a lot accumulated higher carrying costs. While inventory levels had normalized after pandemic-era shortages, the economics of holding that inventory changed dramatically. A truck that once moved quickly could now linger longer, tying up capital. GM's reliance on large trucks meant that shifts in affordability hit harder. Trucks remained strong sellers, but the environment was no longer as forgiving. Consumers became more selective. Incentives returned in certain regions. Analysts began watching inventory days supply more closely. The truck strategy still generated revenue, but the margin cushion was thinner than before. This dependence created a delicate balancing act. GM needed truck profits to fund its future investments. Yet those same trucks were increasingly exposed to macroeconomic headwinds. And as the company leaned on this cash engine, it was simultaneously committing tens of billions to a transformation that would prove more complex than an early forecast suggested. In 2021, General Motors made one of the boldest declarations in modern automotive history. It aimed to phase out tailpipe emissions from light-duty vehicles by 2035. The company committed more than $35 billion to electric and autonomous vehicle development. Central to this plan was the Ultium battery platform, designed to underpin a new generation of EVs across multiple brands. Chevrolet would launch mass-market EVs like the Equinox EV and Silverado EV. Battery plants were announced in partnership with suppliers. Executives spoke confidently about scaling production rapidly and competing head-to-head with global EV leaders. But market conditions evolved differently than many forecasts predicted. While EV adoption continued to grow, the pace slowed compared to early projections. High interest rates increased the upfront cost burden of already expensive vehicles. Charging infrastructure expanded, but unevenly. Consumer surveys showed lingering concerns about range, charging time, and resale values. Incentive eligibility under evolving federal tax credit rules added further complexity. Meanwhile, GM encountered production challenges. Battery module ramp-ups were slower than anticipated. Some model launches were delayed or scaled back. The company adjusted EV production targets in response to moderating demand, a phrase that reflected a broader recalibration across the industry. At the same time, hybrid vehicles surged in popularity, particularly from competitors like Toyota Motor Corporation, which had invested in hybrid technology for decades. GM, by contrast, had largely exited the hybrid space years earlier to focus on a fully electric leap. The absence of a strong hybrid portfolio left it straddling two transitions, dependent on gasoline trucks while pushing aggressively into battery electric vehicles. The electric future remains central to GM's long-term strategy, but the timeline has proven less predictable than anticipated. Investments are long-term and capital-intensive. Consumer adoption moves in cycles influenced by economics and policy. The gap between ambition and near-term demand created tension inside the company, tension that would intensify as another high-profile venture stumbled publicly. While GM was recalibrating its EV rollout, another pillar of its future strategy encountered turbulence. Cruise, the autonomous vehicle subsidiary majority owned by General Motors, had been positioned as a cornerstone of next-generation mobility. The promise was transformative: driverless ride-hailing fleets operating at scale, reducing congestion, and redefining urban transportation. Executives highlighted rapid technological progress. Investors valued the unit in the tens of billions. The narrative was clear: GM was not just an automaker, but a technology company building the infrastructure of autonomous mobility. Then in 2023, a high-profile safety incident in California triggered regulatory scrutiny. State authorities suspended Cruise's driverless permits after determining that certain interactions with emergency responders and incident reporting raised concerns. Operations were halted nationwide. Investigations followed. Senior executives departed. Expansion plans were paused. The financial impact was substantial. Cruise had already been operating at a loss as it scaled operations. GM had been funding those losses as a long-term investment. Following the suspension, the company announced restructuring measures and reduced spending commitments. Billions in cumulative investment suddenly appeared more uncertain in timing and return. The setback underscored the inherent risk of frontier technologies. Autonomous driving requires not only technical advancement, but also regulatory trust and public confidence. Even a single incident can reshape the trajectory of deployment. For GM, The cruise episode added complexity at a moment when EV investments were already straining capital allocation decisions. The company remained committed to autonomy, but the path forward became more measured. What had once been presented as a near-term breakthrough evolved into a longer-term research endeavor. The broader implication was unmistakable. Innovation at scale carries financial volatility. GM was investing simultaneously in electrification and autonomy, two transformative shifts requiring enormous capital. As returns stretched further into the future, the present-day business had to carry even more weight. And just as these pressures mounted, labor negotiations introduced another powerful variable into the equation. In the fall of 2023, the tension between labor and management reached a turning point. The United Auto Workers launched a historic strike against Detroit's big three automakers, including General Motors. Unlike previous nationwide walkouts, this one began with targeted plant strikes, escalating pressure gradually. The strategy kept executives uncertain and investors on edge. At the heart of the dispute were wages, job security, and the future of workers in an EV-driven world. Electric vehicles require fewer parts and often fewer labor hours to assemble than traditional internal combustion models. That reality fueled anxiety inside union halls. Workers wanted assurances that the transition to EVs would not hollow out long-term employment. After weeks of disruption, GM reached a new labor agreement that included substantial wage increases, improved benefits, and commitments to certain production investments. For workers, it was seen as a major victory. For GM's balance sheet, it represented a meaningful increase in labor costs over the coming years. Analysts immediately recalculated projected margins. Higher wages are not inherently destabilizing for a profitable company, but they narrow flexibility during uncertain demand cycles. GM now faced a tighter cost structure, just as EV investments and macroeconomic headwinds were already compressing profitability buffers. The strike also exposed a broader challenge. The transition to electrification is not only technological, it is social. Workers building gasoline-powered trucks today need clarity about their role in tomorrow's battery plants. Every production shift now carries political and economic weight. GM emerged from the strike with operations resumed and labor peace restored, at least for the contract's duration. But the episode added another layer of financial complexity. The company's ability to absorb future shocks would depend not only on market demand, but also on how efficiently it could manage its expanding obligations. And outside factory gates, consumer behavior was beginning to shift in ways that no contract negotiation could control. For years, American consumers embraced larger vehicles with enthusiasm. Pickup trucks and SUVs symbolized versatility, safety, and status. But the economic climate of 2022 through 2024 introduced a recalibration. Rising interest rates, persistent inflation, and higher insurance premiums forced many households to rethink major purchases. Monthly payments crossed psychological thresholds for many families. Consumers began extending loan terms or delaying purchases altogether. Used vehicles regained appeal as buyers searched for affordability. One of the most notable trends during this period was the resurgence of hybrids. Companies like Toyota Motor Corporation experienced strong demand for models that blended fuel efficiency with familiar refueling infrastructure. Hybrid technology offered a middle ground. Lower fuel consumption without the full commitment to charging infrastructure or higher upfront EV pricing. GM's portfolio, however, leaned heavily on full-size gasoline trucks while pursuing an all-electric leap. Without broad hybrid lineup bridging that gap, the company found itself navigating a narrower lane. EV demand continued to grow, but at a more measured pace than early projections. Meanwhile, affordability concerns reshaped priorities across demographic groups. Younger buyers showed increasing openness to flexible ownership models, including leasing, subscription services, or simply holding on to vehicles longer. In urban areas, mobility preferences diversified. The assumption that every household would upgrade frequently to larger vehicles no longer held universally. For GM, these shifts did not represent a collapse in demand. Trucks remained strong sellers in many regions, but the margin of error tightened. Consumer purchasing power became more sensitive to macroeconomic fluctuations. A company structured around premium-priced vehicles must now anticipate greater variability in buying cycles. As American buyers weighed costs more carefully, foreign manufacturers expanded their influence with strategic precision. The auto industry is no longer defined solely by Detroit. It is a global contest shaped by technological agility, supply chain efficiency, and regional policy advantages. While General Motors balanced truck profits and EV ambitions, competitors abroad refined strategies that positioned them differently for shifting demand patterns. In Japan, Toyota Motor Corporation doubled down on hybrid leadership. Rather than rushing headlong into a fully electric lineup, Toyota emphasized incremental electrification. This approach allowed it to capture fuel-conscious consumers without relying entirely on charging infrastructure expansion. South Korean manufacturers, including Hyundai and Kia, accelerated EV rollouts while maintaining diversified powertrain offerings. Their vehicles gained praise for design, value, and warranty coverage. Meanwhile, Chinese automakers such as BYD expanded rapidly within domestic and emerging markets, leveraging scale and government support to compete aggressively on pricing. Global supply chains also evolved. Companies invested in regional manufacturing hubs to reduce exposure to cross-border disruptions. Forecasting tools became more dynamic, adjusting production levels more quickly than traditional long-cycle models allowed. For GM, competition is not a sudden development. It is a constant, but the intensity of adaptation across rivals has increased. In markets outside North America, compact cars, hybrids, and affordable EVs often dominate. The global automotive balance is shifting toward flexibility and cost discipline. The challenge for GM is not merely technological capability, it is strategic positioning. A company deeply rooted in large truck dominance must now ensure it remains competitive across segments that are expanding internationally. The next phase of this story moves beyond corporate competition and into national economic implications. When a company of GM's scale navigates transition, the effects ripple through suppliers, communities, and policymakers alike. The story of General Motors over the past several years is not one of collapse, nor is it one of effortless transformation. It is the story of a company standing between two eras, one that built its dominance and another that demands reinvention. On one side, there is the legacy engine, full-size trucks and SUVs that continue to generate the bulk of GM's profits. These vehicles finance research labs, battery plants, and next-generation software platforms. They remain deeply embedded in American culture and commerce, but they are also vulnerable to economic cycles, interest rate shifts, and changing consumer expectations around affordability and fuel efficiency. On the other side lies the future. GM has publicly committed to building an electric and increasingly autonomous portfolio designed for a lower emissions world. That path requires billions in capital, long development timelines, and patience from investors and regulators. It also requires consumers to adopt new technologies at scale, something that rarely moves in a straight line. Layered on top of these strategic bets are rising labor costs following the UAW agreement, global competition that is adapting rapidly, and technological ventures like Cruise that have proven how unpredictable innovation can be. None of these elements alone determines GM's fate, but together they define the terrain it must navigate. The central question is no longer whether GM understands the direction of the industry. It clearly does. The question is whether it can sequence its transition with precision, protecting present profitability while pacing future investments realistically. The next 5 to 10 years will reveal whether GM's strategy produces a resilient, diversified automaker capable of competing globally, or whether misalignment between demand, cost, and ambition narrows its flexibility. For now, GM remains powerful, profitable, and deeply influential, but it is operating in a world where strength alone is not enough. Adaptability will determine what kind of company it becomes and how large a role it continues to play in the future of mobility. Once again, thanks for watching this video. If you got something out of this, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. And hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Agree, disagree, or something in between. I'd love to hear it.